right, so our first story of the day, by the way, is going to be how much Bitcoin do you need to actually be in the 1% club, right? To actually be in the 1% club of Bitcoin. So this is kind of an interesting idea that came across the desk. And so we're going to kick it around today. And we're actually going to kind of dig and kind of dive down this Bitcoinist article and see what information we have. All right, so again, this comes from the Bitcoinist. Now, with Bitcoin's recent price spike, trading above 10,000, and overall, really just the expansion of the market in this recent season, kind of after the reaccumulation range that I talked about in between the 6,500s and the 7,500s, this left a lot of folks regretting that they didn't buy in and accumulate a significant position in Bitcoin before price began appreciating to the point where owning even one whole Bitcoin starts to become a distant possibility for most people. It's a $10,000 sticker shock, man. But before you get too down on yourself, accordingly, one BlockWorks Group analyst is saying that someday in the future, you will only need about 0.28 Bitcoin to be in the top 1% richest of the world, at least in terms of quantity of Bitcoin. Now, despite the US regulatory crackdown looming on cryptocurrency with new FinCEN rules ready to break up the party, a bullish sentiment seems to be prevailing in the space, with on-chain data suggesting that many are still accumulating, but others point to less than 2% of all addresses holding one Bitcoin or more. Now, of course, while this metric doesn't account for how many hold more than one Bitcoin spread out over multiple addresses, many do estimate the actual number of people who own a whole Bitcoin is really quite small, somewhere between only 500,000 and 1 million people. Well, therefore, there is apparently no need for despair if you're not even holding one full Bitcoin, or even if you did at some point, but blew it all on altcoin bags, what little you have left may be enough to make your parents proud someday. Now, analyst Jake Levison is stating that all it takes is really just 0.28 BTC. But how did the BlockWorks Group analyst reach his conclusions? When is this scenario likely to occur when Bitcoin has appreciated so significantly that even a quarter of a whole Bitcoin could be life-changing? According to one Twitter user, it's based on research published by Unchained Capital's Parker Lewis, titled Bitcoin Obsoletes All Money. Now, in it, Lewis posts a graphic showing that this could possibly be the case sometime after the year 2030. At this point, average user holdings are projected to be around 0.001 Bitcoin, or just 100,000 Satoshis, and there are 1 billion users on the network. However, according to Levison, if you've got 0.28 Bitcoin, the future is on now, explaining what he meant in a recent tweet, saying, quote, "From now until the end of time," let me find it here actually, quote, "From now until the end of time, my tweet was saying that if you did own 0.28 Bitcoin, only 1% of the world will ever be able to own more than you, hence putting you in the top 1%. Or, as Twitter user BTC Chris pointed out, unpopular opinion, no more than 5 to 10 million people will ever own a full Bitcoin. Between whales, hodlers, nations, and institutions, there won't be many left to go around. Factor in lost coins and there's even less. Whole coiners will be rare indeed. Now, while this does imply what some consider an unfair distribution of wealth, with whales, hodlers, nations, and institutions hoarding the lion's share of Bitcoin, this sort of scarcity may mean the latecomers and your financially challenged fellowmen may not ever join the 1% club of those who own just 0.28 BTC sometime in the future, which I'm going to assume most of you have. Still, if you need a personal self-esteem boost for today, or maybe you're not even feeling good, maybe you're even feeling a little bit down about not going all in at the 3K bottom, you can still potentially consider yourself among the blessed and fortunate 1% with just a mere balance of 0.28 BTC today, or just about $2,835 worth of dollar equity in Bitcoin as of today, right? So I know that I talk to a lot of individuals and they set their sights at, I got to own one Bitcoin. I need to own one whole Bitcoin. And I think that's a great task. But as that sticker shock gets higher, again, I don't think that anybody needs to feel bad about having 0.28. Just get 0.28. Just get 0.28. Stick it in a ledger, throw it in your sock drawer, and forget about it for 10 years. Forget about it for 10 years. And we'll see. We'll see if this is as life-changing as Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. Now, if your goal is to own a whole coin someday, you may need to start putting those sats away soon, because the window of affordable Bitcoin may be quickly closing. As always, please let me know your thoughts, your opinions, your sarcastic remarks, your comments, or your death threats on today's news segment in the comment section down below.